tremendous news for all traders out there. Stocks in both Rugby and League have never been higher. Hello everybody, how are you going? Welcome back to this, your Thursday night Rugby League stream. We've got two traditional Western Sydney rivals today. The Eels versus the Panthers. The 2022 Grand Final was easily one of the most forgettable in recent memory. In fact, it isn't even really in recent memory. I don't remember anything about that game. I was only there. But nonetheless, it is a rivalry that has given us some absolutely brilliant matchups over the past. Today is certainly not going to be one of them. It's first against 15th. I'm surprised any of you are even here. But anyway, you know, I'm professionally obligated to be, so I'm going to get into it anyway. I'm actually prepared. Want some credit for this. I am prepared for this stream. I've been sat here for the last 5 minutes waiting to go. Rather than weeks gone by, which has been me sprinting back to my room, legging it like a freaking Olympic sprinter, hopping here, starting at 5 minutes late, being like, I don't have time to get into the teams. I'm sorry, I can't do it, but today I can, and so today I shall. Let's get into it. Want to say as well, just apologies in advance. My hair, not a clue. Earlier today, it was messy and it looked really good. Now it's just not. It's just not. And I can't. I put it up, it flops back down. I put it up, it flops back down. I put it up, like, I'm sorry. I don't know. Not a clue. But anyway, how about we get into these two teams? So, there's a change. We've got Jackson Edgar. Never heard of him. Frankly, I don't think that's an appropriate way to spell Jackson. But, you know, if he's a good football player, I can make concessions. I just... Jackson... Should his parents be allowed to vote? Probably not. I have seen some rumors that potentially big Milky Jenkins will be in at fullback, but we'll see how we go to actually start the game. Will Pensini comes in to start in the centers for Parramatta. Obviously, a very high-quality player would have been starting there regardless, but match fitness was only the concern about him. Moving into the forwards, so Luca Moretti comes in to start in the back row. Penrith forwards are unchanged. That pushes Kamatolangi onto the bench. Rest of the benches are unchanged. I'm excited about this one purely because it's the first game of the round and nothing to do with the match in itself and its own merits and all of that stuff. Now, I've got something cool to tell you guys. Very, very cool. As we have 3 minutes before kickoff. I was in my common room of my building the other day, looking through the cupboards and stuff. It's sort of what I need to do. I was trying to restock some of the coffee pods, and I found a monitor. Some Donnie had left a monitor there. And I was like, there's a 10% chance that this, like, monitor is even... Yeah, that's better lighting. There's a 10% chance this monitor is even remotely functional. I saw the cord that was attached to it. It was a Chinese, like, wall socket thing. I'm like... It's finished, but I'm going to bring it back to my room anyway and just see if it works. See if I can make it work. Found the right cables, found the right sockets, inputs, plugged it in. It works like a bloody charm, let me tell you folks. So I've now got... This setup is crazy. I'm going to... I wasn't sure if I was going to do this. I might break absolutely everything. But, hang on. The cords are... It's upside down. So... yeah, it's all broken. In the middle there, I've got my laptop screen. Underneath, I've got the game, but you can't see that. This is my new monitor. I've got chat and I've got Spotify on that side. And then I've got a web page and the soundboard up there. It's crazy. It's crazy. I feel like a proper streamer. And I'm going to be able now. This is some synergy. Well, that's why you get the big bucks. Thank you, Dean. I'm going to finish my point though. After this reads out.
Hi there. Do you have time to do a stream? We're green if yes, recite the Book of Mormon in Klingon if no.
Yes. So I've got that covered. Yeah, so, thank you for the $8, firstly. But, in terms of the brain synergy point, I've got chat on this side of me now. So I'm going to look this way to read chat. And it, because on the screen, like, that's where chat is. So, like, right, I used to look over here and then it, like, didn't make sense, you know. But now I'm like, look at it. It's so much better. It's so much better. We make a little baby steps improvements. And I absolutely love that about us. Absolutely love that about us. Big up us. We're doing well. Why do you have a picture of Toad on your wall? I made it. I painted it. Because in the Mario Kart competitions that we have here, I race as Toad, and I always win. And I'm not saying, like, you know, I always win, blah, blah, blah. I always win. I always win. I always finish in first every race. And our race is turd, so it's kind of gone down to legend. All right. Madsen has just done a Beatles reference there, I think. There's the kickoff if you want to sync up with me. I think the most clutch moment I have ever seen in sports was these two teams at this venue. Nathan Cleary hitting a 2-point field goal to tie up the game and send it to Golden Point. We'll see what they can come up with instead today. There we go, Madsen. I'm glad I realized the reference, and I'm glad you made it because it's not the most mainstream of Beatles references. Hit there on Jack Williams. I'm going to be looking slightly lower though. When I'm watching the game, but anyway, I think it works. I love Para's jersey for this game. They've won it in the past, and I praised it then. I guess they can't do it every week because, you know, the sponsors and all that, but this is just a glorious jersey. All right, on from Volkman, now to Fankitioni Kaltonga. Did Leaguie swear says that reminded me, actually, and I can look this way. That reminded me of my nana's room when I was little. She had cupboards with mirror doors that were opposite each other. And 7-year-old me always tried to lean over and see the end of my endless reflections. That seems physically impossible. Another thing that's physically impossible is tackling Brian Toto, and he's about to get the ball here. Gets it. Is tackled there. Yeah, they mentioned, I don't know if you guys watched the pregame, but Luke Keary was talking about it, saying that he just could not tackle Brian Toto, the hardest bloke to tackle, and that does not surprise me. Doesn't surprise me at all. Para jersey looks like a training jersey. I disagree. I think it looks glorious. I really, really like it. I like it with the darker shade of blue than they normally go with, and the blue shorts as well. I'm a Panthers fan, and Paris scared me. Well, back in the day, back in the sort of 2021, 2022 era, they were the only side that were really able to beat Penrith. Kick there from Nathan Cleary. Penrith have lost 3 of their last 4. If they do lose this one, it's kind of amazing. I really, really don't think that they will. If they do lose it and the Warriors and Roosters win this week, that'll bring the top 3 teams all onto level points. But we'll see. That's what's literally at stake here. That's what's at stake. Did you hear about Munster being able to talk to PNG? Oh, straight through here. Is it Luca Moretti? His one-on-one with a fullback. Unfortunately, Volkman wasn't able to get there in support. That's good sides early from Parramatta. I'll finish reading that comment after. This is the third. Moses, dummies, goes out the back eventually to find Sam Tuivaiti. George says, my prediction is Eels will win by 8 points. And the votes are 50-50. That really surprises me. Volkman. Now on to find Iyongi. They've got numbers out there. Iyongi dummies goes himself. There's going to be one more left here in this set. Let's see how they go and what they do in this one. Volkman puts it high. No, it's not really that high, actually. It was more across field. Moses has got out. I reckon he's scored. I reckon Mitchell Moses has plucked it out the air. And Parramatta, the unlikeliest of early leads. Mitchell Moses, did we know he could do it under the high ball? I certainly didn't, but Parramatta are in for their first. I'm a little surprised. I'm actually a lot surprised, frankly. How was that just happened? My cord, my cable that connects my headphones to my laptop is maybe the worst thing of all time. Okay, now I can hear the audio. Isaac Moses is what I tried. Don't tell me I said Isaac Moses. Please tell me I didn't say Isaac Moses. I'm aware that it is not Isaac Moses. That's a great start. It's the start they needed to have. It's absolutely the start that they needed to have. Jordan Kahustan is back. My favorite country is Jordan Kahustan. We know this. The Isaiah Papali'i Cup. Yes. The Jermaine Hopgood Cup? He never played first grade, I don't think, for Penrith. But the Jermaine Hopgood Cup would absolutely work. The Blaze Salangi Cup, perchance. Look at that. I mean, he was competing with Williams and IPAP. Well, that's why you get the has been confirmed. That's why you get the big Thank you, Dean.
If the legendary Barney walked in, would he be proud of you suiting up or will he beg you to be cool? Either way, the laser tag is 5 minutes away.
That's How I Met Your Mother reference, of course, as Parramatta get that conversion. Barney Stinson, one of the most problematic characters I've ever seen in television history, but he did wear suits. And I would be lying, I think, if I said that his ability to look good in a suit didn't influence the number of suits that I personally own. It's a quantity. It's a quantity. Did Hands play for Penrith? Not to my knowledge. Wonga Blake Cup, I love. Leaguie, did you give up your mid-season ranks video? No. Well, it's not going to be a mid-season ranks video, evidently, but it's going to be repurposed. My next video is going to be about refereeing, funnily enough. I started writing it yesterday. Came up with a banger of an intro, but we'll see how we go from there. Speaking of which, on Sunday after the footy, the live stream will continue.
C_Phantom just redeemed. Change the background color. Yellow square emoji.
Oh, God.
Yellow square emoji. 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 Yellow square emoji.
I'm only letting you do that because I love you so much. Yeah, the stream will continue. I will probably set it up as a different stream, potentially Discord exclusive. I'm figuring that one out. Probably Discord exclusive, to be honest. If you want to join the Discord, you can go on Twitch, do !Discord, and it will come up. If you are on YouTube, look in the description of this live stream, and you can join up. As Penrith get a penalty there. I'm going to be Penrith. I'm going to be having that debate, kind of. Not really. Unfortunately, none of the creators that I called out in the short that I made, they haven't found touch, Penrith. I need to focus on the game, but I've got things to tell you guys. Iongi with the ball. Isaiah Iongi Cup as well. Yeah, so none of the creators that I wanted to debate got in touch with me about having that debate. NRL Soapbox did, but we realized we just agreed on way too much. But there's a creator called Larry Talks, who I've worked with before. He's not certainly one of the referee bashers, but he describes himself as being anti-bunker. So we're going to have a discussion. It's not really a debate, but we're going to be trying to get to the bottom of some of these issues as Parramatta come up with an error there. Thank you, Mario.
That's why you get the big bucks.
Let's go, Para. Did you see Cast Tigers beat Leeds with second half comeback? It was glorious and absolutely rugby league.
I'll give you one of those. Absolute rugby league. I did see it. Castleford are not the side that they were about 10 years ago. They had a really good run with Luke Gale. I really liked watching Luke Gale back in the day. Great Super League player. And there was a guy who debuted this year in the NRL called Luke Gale. And I was like, no chance it's him. Can't be him. In fact, it was not him. But yeah, against a heavyweight Leeds, that's very, very cool. Chico's back, and he says, you miss me? Of course I miss you. Thank you for the $8, by the way, Mario. That brings our total for the stream up to, I think, 16. So much appreciated. Cheers. Can you put the link in the YouTube chat? It is literally in the description of the YouTube live stream. If you just scroll down, right there. Straight up there. Cleary, back underneath to find Isaiah Yo. So he's tackled right in front of the six, 10 meters out. This will be the last. Lussick does find Nathan Cleary, just shovels it on. They get it out to Jackson. Alamotti gets an offload to Brian Toto, but it's not looking good. It's really not looking good for Penrith. Super early days, but they haven't done well with the opportunities they've had. Yeah, so anyway, me and Larry Talks will be having this discussion. I need to figure out exactly how to set it all up. I haven't got across that yet, but it will be a Discord exclusive stream, and there's going to be, I'm hoping, a lot of audience participation where you guys can ask questions as well, and we try and get to the bottom of those issues. I will then edit that into a main channel video, so as part of it. Yeah. Wasn't there a Gale at the Broncos? It might have been Luke Gale at the Broncos. I'm not sure, but I just remember seeing a Luke Gale somewhere. But yes, just want to verify, NRL Soapbox did reply. We just agreed on way too much. That's a penalty to Parramatta, and I'll get the animation right this time. Leaguie, did you watch The Dark Knight? I have seen The Dark Knight. Christopher Nolan. Shout out to him. I haven't seen The Odyssey. I'm going to see that on next Saturday, I think. It will still be in the movie, surely. But, yeah, looking forward to that. Looking forward to the new Spider-Man movie as well. I'm hyped about him.
That's why you get the big bucks.
If Holland was to be an NRL player, what team would you think be a good starting team for him? And would you braid his hair?
So that's Haaland. Not Haaland, obviously. Not Haaland. Sorry. That's Haaland, not Holland. The text-to-speech shouldn't really work there. I've seen people say that he should, you know, he could be an NRL player. Definitely not. He would not have the physical toughness for it. But basically, which jersey would he look good in? Well, he wears light blue already. I don't think it'd be a Cronulla Shark, though. Knock on there. Unfortunately, You know what? I'm going to go with Raiders. I'm going to go with Raiders purely because of the Scandinavian sort of link. No way Scandinavian. Yeah, it is. So, unfortunately for Parramatta here, they're being given penalties to march up the field. And, of course, Penrith not finding touch earlier. But they've come up with errors on both of them. And, obviously, I'm holding it to a very high standard by saying that that's, you know, unforgivable errors earlier in the game. But to beat Penrith, unfortunately, you can't really do that. So, thoughts on a semi-pro rugby league player, so I take it that's you, not taking the doctor's advice and considering coming back to the game with a half-broken wrist? Male ego, when it comes to physical achievements and toughness, will truly never be defeated. Thank you, Ash.
Storm should get Burton NGL emo best signing.
We spoke about this last time. Yeah, if there's the money there, why wouldn't you do it? But I don't think Canterbury were very keen to let him go. All right, Jackson now. Jackson Edgar's his name, right? But because of how... Yeah, it is Jackson Edgar. Because of how much of an absolute violation it is to spell Jackson that way, I'm just going to call him Jackson. Liam Martin now across the 40-meter line, the attacking 40-meter line, that is. This will be the last. Cool, Reckless Ollie, we'll check in DMs. So Jenkins, oh, is that going to be a escort on McLean? No, it won't be. Jenkins was going to go up for that ball, wasn't really near it. What about Hectic Fred? He said he'd debate you on League, lads. Can you send me the link to that episode? And maybe tell me, like, where in the episode? He hasn't got in touch with me. So, I have no idea. Madsen's still doing the Beatles references. Hello, goodbye, that is. I'll tell you what. So I had... Yeah, I'll talk about it at halftime. I spent about 10 minutes talking about this. I'll talk about it at halftime, but it's about that song. Anyway. Moses on to find Jack Williams, the Kuma Stallion, down from this part of the world. ACT kind of region. Moses short ball. Pensini in the attacking 40. This will be the last. So they're going sort of set for set at the moment. I like it. There's a penalty on the last, so that's not what you want from a Penrith perspective. And Lindsay Smith is absolutely covered in claret. Covered in claret. Yeah, it was Talon De Silva going over the top. Is he cut him with a boot? I don't know, but Lindsay Smith is absolutely incensed here. Absolutely incensed. Is the Milk playing fullback? I don't think so. I haven't really been looking closely, though. We've got a little intervention here from Gerard Sutton. Yeah, they're saying he's got to be taken off the field because time's being stopped. Gerard Sutton is not really having this, but Smith has got to go off.
That's why you get the big bucks.
It didn't read out because it was only one bit. I think that's why. There is a minimum, Dean. There is a minimum for you to use the text-to-speech. But he said... Moses splitting the Parramatta River. Well, he's splitting the Penrith River at the moment. Let's see if he can do it again here in this set. Is there a Penrith River? I don't think there is. Short ball there, Moses. Oh, maybe that's what you were talking about because they are in the Parramatta Eels for their second. Jackie Williams, I gave him praise earlier for being part of God's country, the ACC region, and he's split Penrith open there. Oh my God, it's not a penalty. I was like, why is the sound not playing? 10-0 it is. If you want a lot of insight into my audio situation now, I heard they run big Eels. Eels. That's literally what I heard in my headphones just then. What has happened to the Panthers? I mean, Para supremacy. Parramatta on top. I need to change to the green background again. I was going to do that like 5 minutes ago. Yeah, are they immortal? NRL Soapbox came out with a reel the other day, and I unfortunately agreed with it, saying that, look, we all know by the end of the year, sorted all this out. But yeah, I'm surprised. I know the music's just cut out there. I've had to switch around the ends of my headphone jack. Hopefully that works. I don't know. Moses with a conversion there, so it's 12 points to 0 early on here. I met Lindsay Smith in a petrol station in Mount Annan. We had a good chat. I shouted I shouted him what he was going to buy. That's cool. A white monster and a sausage roll. By the way, it was Christmas Day. That's so awesome that he gave you, you know, time on Christmas Day. Have you seen the Roosters Indigenous jersey? Yes, I have. Why? Yes, I have. And I can understand why it's controversial. And I don't really like it very much. It's certainly not one that I'm going to be buying. But I do quite like the tendency to try something new, right? We could have been, yet again, just one of the teams, as we tend to be most years, of let's do, yeah, this is, something alright. Let's do a bit of Indigenous artwork in our team's colors and go from there. I'll tell you what's really revolutionary. Let's make the V a boomerang, because no one ever does that. Could have done that. Instead, we tried something else. We've gone, centered it around a former captain of the club, Indigenous captain. We've got his daughter, I believe, to design it. And yeah, it kind of looks like a set of pajamas, sure. But I don't mind it. And I think, to be honest, when we wear it on field, it's just going to look like a jersey. So, yeah. We got an error there. We do. Liam Martin and Lindsay Smith celebrate Gerard Sutton rules and knock on, unfortunately, there for Parramatta. So it's going to be Penrith ball. Sea Phantom says, I accidentally made my mother... Oh, hang on. Whoops. I made my mother obsessed with Erling Haaland. She keeps sending me memes about him. She's considering buying me a Man City jersey because he plays for them. I created a monster. Help me. That's entirely your doing, brother. Not my responsibility to help you out with that. Unfortunately, though, your mother being obsessed with a Man City player is just morally reprehensible. I wish Erling Haaland didn't play for Man City. I would be such a fan of him if he played for almost anybody else. When he was at Borussia Dortmund, I was just a Haaland enthusiast. I was like, this is the man that's going to win them the Bundesliga finally, and it just didn't happen, tragically. So, they do still have a boomerang, but it looks good. Yeah, but I'm saying we didn't just do the boomerang and then that's it. And the rest of the jersey's just, you know, red and white dots on a dark blue background. Isaiah Papali'i with a run there. Penrith got a 6 again just then as well as a couple of tackles ago. But anyway, I'll put the animation up. So this is going to be the second. They're about 12 meters out. Lussick gets it to Nathan Cleary underneath to find Lindsay Smith, who's all taped up after being cut earlier on in this game. Is Mitch McConnell still alive, Leaguie? Yes, he is. And as are Penrith's attacking chances in this set, despite being tackled there, Blaze Langi. So, on the fourth, they're spreading to the right-hand side now. Yo, deep into the line there. They've got hella numbers out there. A two-man overlap, but they can't find it. Jackson Edgar can't get the ball out wide. There were two unmarked Panthers out there. Oh my god, that's long.
I feel like Leaguie with the side of getting tasered. I just hope 10 News doesn't spell my name wrong like they did to my mate, then delete all evidence of it because they only used 8 seconds of a 6 minutes interview.
No idea what you're talking about, but Penrith have just scored a try. Casey McLean, a.k.a. Casey Maguire, a.k.a. the Critter Regen. It was Milky Jenkins who went up for it. Got it. Got a lovely little offload away to the corner. Jenkins, beautiful pass. Get it to McLean. And I reckon he's got there while staying in field, although it looks a little bit suspect. We'll see on this front angle here. McLean. Yes, he does. What a beautiful finish that is. Beautiful finish. Are you sure? I'm pretty sure. Who got the second try? It was Jack Williams. Yeah, that's brilliant work from the milkman himself, Milky Jenkins. You'll love to see that. Double checking, you're at the Tigers Raiders game again? Yes, I will be. And I need colors for leg bro keychains. They don't particularly have favorite colors that I know of. I'd stick with the green if you've got the green. Yeah, beautiful. To get the ball on the pickup as well, it was bouncing towards him. Didn't have a lot of room to work with, but it is try confirmed. Kick to come. Nathan Cleary will be kicking it from the sideline. Nope, he stepped into the touchline. I don't think he did, unfortunately. I don't think he did. And try is confirmed, so the bunker agree. All right. Got a very specific view of Nathan Cleary's kicking tee there. I assume they're talking about it on Channel 9, but I'm on Fox's commentary, so. All right. Cleary to kick it from the left-hand touchline. It's the side you want to be on as a right-footed kicker. Should be able to slot it in, as he usually does. Lines it up, hits it. It's starting in the middle, and it does hang that way. 6 points on the board for the Penrith Panthers. There's Lorenzo's one mandatory follow, or re-follow. Eat stream. Thank you very much for that, Lorenzo. Good kick. It certainly was a good kick. Danny says, I like Harlan, but I'm a Chelsea fan. I think he's a great player, and I think he's a class act. But of all that being said, F that oil club. I'm going to Chelsea, to a Chelsea friendly. Is that the one in Sydney? I know that they're coming here and playing, and Spurs are playing here as well. So, yeah, what to do? Leg Bro 1 and Leg Bro 2. That's really funny. It's like Thing 1 and Thing 2 from the Cat in the Hat. I like that. All right. So, 12 points to 6. It is a nightmare start for the Penrith Panthers, but they do get a try. There was a little bit, I don't want to say lucky. There was certainly a lot of skill involved, but they had a repeat set, didn't really do much with it. They put a kick up on the last, and really, Jenkins was wrapped up. He just somehow got an offload away. They'll count for the same number of points, but it's still not been a great start for Penrith. Next scorer in this game is very important, but we are less than a quarter of the way into it. Good tackle there on Nathan Cleary. Ball didn't come free. Samarani was appealing for something there. On the last, Talangi will kick from inside the 40. It's not the longest of kicks. It's got a lot of angle on it. Jenkins, oh, he's knocked it on. I tell you what, it was beautifully weighted for a Jenkins catch and potentially just keep going on there, but he's knocked on about 25 out from the Parramatta line. Favorite movie that starts with the letter P? I'm struggling to think of a movie that starts with the letter P. Percy Jackson and the Olympians I kind of liked, but only because I like the books. I don't think that would be my favorite movie that starts with P. Can I have any suggestions? Rugby NRL guy says, could you ban me? Yeah, sure. I mean, I could time you out. I don't really want to ban you completely, but I'll time you out for 10 minutes. Bang. There we go. This is going to be a heartbreaking Riff win. I can feel it. It's the kind of one that they tend to get. It is the kind of one that they tend to get, unfortunately. Hopefully not. Hopefully not. As I said, next try scorer, very, very important in this game. I'm going to move the microphone a bit further away from my face. I feel it's too close. Great catch there from Paul Alamotti. Great catch. Brilliant stuff. Love that. Princess Bride, I don't know, not mine, but I know people like it. I have seen The Princess Bride, and it was better than I thought it was going to be. I was like, based on the name, not really my shebang, but anyway, it was pretty good. I like that. I don't think that means what you're thinking it means one, so yeah. Paper Planes is a W movie. Planes is a W movie. It's not really. It's very, very average, but it was fine. It was fine. I'm thinking, like, is there one about Philadelphia? Probably not. What a specific question. Do you have a favorite movie that starts with P? Whoever it was that asked that. Catch there from Isaiah Iongi. We'll get it up to the 20. I was asked. So actually, I wasn't asked. So, you know, no, I'm going to talk about that at halftime as well. There's two things I'm going to talk about at halftime. I feel that lately I've been talking about things at halftime rather than doing things at halftime, and I like that more. So, two things. We've got halftime entertainment sorted out because it's actually, it's kind of funny. Favorite deceased NRL player, Arthur Beetson. Although he wasn't an NRL player, but he played first grade rugby league. On the fourth here, Parramatta at the halfway line. Williams gets it across to find Moses, now DeBellin. Can't get an offload away. Sort of shaped for it. It's quite a distant memory that he wasn't in first grade to start the season for Parramatta. So his way back into it nicely. Moses will hoist it high up in the air. It's right towards the touchline of Addo Carr. It's too awkward a bounce for him. Tried to do something different with that kick there. If not, it just came off the side of the boot wildly. But I'm assuming that is what Moses tried to do. Addo Carr had a little bit of space out there, but really, yeah, that was never going to be a catch and wild offload. Okay, Ollie, I can do that. So Did Leaguie Swear says, I'm going through the alphabet watching movies I haven't seen before and up to P. I've seen the Percy Jackson movies before. They are mid. The TV show is better. I don't think I watched the TV show. But yeah, the movies are not, they're not good, certainly. Certainly, like, when I was a kid, did end up developing a childhood crush on Alexander Daddario. And then, went to a Formula One race that she was at, like, years and years later. And I was like, wow, when I was 13, I would have really cared about that. But anyway, I can't really think of many movies. Priscilla. Yes, Priscilla, Queen of the Desert. Yes, that would be it. That would be my answer. Catch there. Beautiful from Isaiah Iongi. Jeez, he's done well with that one. He's done very, very well. So I like that. Oh, we got a whistle here. No, is it a lost ball? It is. No. I just praised you, Isaiah. I praise you. Or was it a Volkman who came up with the knock on? They're showing both players. Damn, that's a costly error, inviting Penrith right back onto the attack here. He only... Slight bobble. Super slight bobble. Well done on catching that one, Gerard Sutton. Okay. Yeah, Priscilla, Queen of the Desert. What a movie. I'm going to do an event this year in my building showing it. Because we've got a lot of international students here. And I think it's a great example of Aussie culture. Yo, back to Fine Cleary. Now on for for Casey McLean. I was like, that's weird. Blaze Talangi's wearing jersey number 4. That's because it's not Blaze Talangi. Plays it to Lussick. On to find Isaiah Papali'i, former Parramatta Eel, is tackled there on the second. Lussick now. To the right-hand side, bit of a crash play option for Lindsay Smith. Holds it. Tackled there. Lussick's in a dummy half again. On the third. Halfway through this set now. Nice little play there for Moses Leotta. He got it and dummied and then went himself. He was only about a metre shy. But Lussick will go from dummy half. And I think he's got there. And it looks like he's got there. No. No, but it's going to go up as no try. And actually, right late there, I saw a little bit of white that had stayed up. I'm thinking potentially... Yongi's odd side. There's no issue there. I'm thinking potentially he has been held up. It's going to be hard to overturn this one. That's for sure. Yeah, Lussick is not claiming it whatsoever. It's going to be ruled a no try. Yeah, okay, so we're waiting for the bugger to confirm this as we need to, but we'll get underway again shortly for the last tackle. Penrith have been on the attack this entire set. Para have done well to hold out. They've done very well to hold out. No try it is. Lussick will play. It's going to be Moses Leotta in at dummy half here, giving it to Isaiah Yeo. This is the last play. Cleary gets it at second receiver. Talangi cutout ball, and it ends up in the hands of McLean. That's it. I often say cutout ball when it's not really a cutout ball. And I'm immediately after saying it, I'm like, that's not what a cutout ball means. But by that point, I've said it. That wasn't a cutout ball. It was a long, quick pass, but it wasn't a cutout ball. Anyway. Tiger says, thoughts on the league's new profile picture? I love it. I don't, like, a lot of people have noticed. Way more people than I thought would have noticed. I don't think I've updated it on Twitch, actually. So I don't think anyone... No, in fact, I have not updated it on Twitch. So no Twitch people would know. Although I'm doing that right now. But it's a very, very subtle change. I've just added a gradient to the back of my logo, which I think makes it look a lot better. I really like it. I think it makes it look dynamic. And the number of people who noticed, clearly, sort of shows that it has mattered. All right. So, good catch there from Edgar. 15 and a half minutes to go. Reckless Ollie says, I think the league's new logo should not have the in it and should just be Leaguie. Yeah, I can't remember if I explained this to you, but it was just... I think I did. I tried to do a bit of a rebrand to just Leaguie. I think that would be a really good name. Dropping the, and it does look better. The logo looks better just being Leaguie. But I couldn't change my social media handles, couldn't change my YouTube. So I would be Leaguie on the logo, but the Leaguie on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, like email. I thought that was just too confusing. You need to have everything be the same name consistently everywhere. So I'm going to keep it the way that it is, for sure. All right. Yongi got a catch there. Is it going to be a penalty? I think it will be. No, Sutton is... yeah, it's a 10-meter penalty. It was doing these ones. I was like, what does that mean? Penalty Parramatta. Drop the. As I said, I would if I was able to, really. But the league is fine as well. It's fine. Why don't you use the communist logo I sent you, League? Lorenzo, I think that question probably answers itself. I already get labeled a socialist for being pro-ref somehow. So no need to lean into that any more than I already do. Certainly no need to lean into that more than I do. All right. Samarani with a run there up to the halfway line. Parramatta have consistently throughout this game, off the back of getting penalties and leg ups downfield, come up with errors. Really in the first few tackles of each set. Let's see what they do here. Played by Kautonga. Now I want to find Dylan Walker. Short ball. Maybe when I have more money, I can buy off the people that currently have the @Leaguie handles. But like, for instance, on Instagram, I've said this before, the person with the username Leaguie is a woman whose name is Leaguie. And I'm like, that's straight up your name. Like, I can't hold that against you. So, you give off the vibe of being an annoying socialist type, to be honest. Well, I'm not. I'm not a socialist, and nor am I annoying about my political beliefs. Tackle there. I'm not definitionally a socialist. It's going to be a knock on Penrith here. Leaguie is crazy. I mean, it's her name. It's her name, bro. I can't do anything about that. Penrith have the option of challenging. I don't think they're going to take it. No, they will challenge it. Interesting. Did Leaguie swear says, are you a racist? No. Do you think more people should be able to eat? Yes. I declare you a communism. Pretty much that's it, yes. I am a social democrat, which means I believe in socialist policies in a capitalist system. George Dragons fan has changed his profile picture to soapboxes one. That completely confused me for a second. I've not been paying enough attention to this challenge. I don't know how it's going. I don't know where we're standing right now. There's so many Panthers absolutely everywhere here. I mean, it has gone backwards, and then it comes forward off Penrith, but not hands. It's going to be an accidental offside, I think. Unsuccessful challenge. That's what matters at the end of the day. Alright, career mode update from Egg Council Creeper. Debut for Peace are underway. They qualified for Serie A while I was focused on UCL, so there's a nice plus. That's a huge plus. That's massive. That transforms the entire move for you. I love that for you. Yeah, I tell you what, that was as good your guess as mine as theirs in that situation there. But a lot transpired in it, and it wasn't enough to win that challenge. Now watch Parramatta knock on. That's kind of what they've been doing. But I said, it feels like an age ago now, next try scorer in this game, super important, and Parramatta with the best opportunity either side have really had to get it right here. They give it to Volkman. They're not going to try and find numbers out wide. They just do a ball back underneath through Tinkham Brown, I think that is. Yes, it is. Back from Moses. Now in the hands of Isaiah Yongi. Can't get an offload away. Good tackle there, Blaze Talangi. He's, I view them as almost counterparts. They're similar positions and they went different ways sort of at the same time. All right. This is going to be the third here. Talon Silva is the man in at dummy half. Walker was baying for a little bit of a penalty there. Anyway, it was half-hearted. Moses, short ball. Tui Vaiti. In fact, it was Tuolangi, not Tui Vaiti. It was close to the line there. It was a nice pass from Mitch Moses. Walker, short ball. Onto Brown. Penrith do retreat back now. There was a hint of forward, but anyway. Now in the hands of Moses. They'll put a kick up over the top to try and target To'o. I think it's been knocked on there, Parramatta. They do recover it. Good defensive set there from the Penrith Panthers. They survive. They survive. 12 points to 6 it remains. WETF says, are you a pedophile? Not to my knowledge, no. Lorenzo says, were you involved with the fall of the Union of Soviet Socialist Republics? To my knowledge, also no. Alright, so Parramatta's opportunity is not completely gone yet. They're able to attack with their defense here. They've got Penrith sort of coming out of their own 10-meter area. Haven't really had the first two tackles you need, though, when you've got a side coming off their goal line. But anyway. Isaiah, you're up over the 20. If it can be 12-6 at halftime, that would set up a brilliant second half. Absolutely brilliant second half. Also, Minier got in trouble for his music playlist. He must have done this accidentally while fiddling on my Spotify, but he added K in the name of by Rage Against the Machine, uncensored. I don't know what that song is. It's not really the kind of music that I listen to, but I'm going to assume that it's not good. It's not good. It doesn't sound good. Anyway. Pennies also washed? I hope so. I don't think so, though. I don't think they are, but I hope they are. I have often wondered, and I don't know if this question's ever been asked to a coach before. I'm assuming it has, because it seems such a clear question to me. But if I was ever interviewing Trent Robinson, for instance, I think he's the master of doing this, of getting your team to peak at the perfect time, with about a month left, 4 weeks in the regular season, they just start trending up massively. I'd love to know how you actually do that. What goes into it from a coaching perspective? Do you hold back on your coaching to start the year? Are there things that, as a coach, as that ball goes dead, are there things that you keep up your sleeve? They're having a little... Well, they're not going to have a look, but Andrew Voss wants them to have a look at whether the ball touched the line before Edgar picked it up. I will say... 2019, I believe, grand final. I've said this before. Boyd Cordner did that. The ball was bouncing dead, like, really fast. Cordner was running back. Ball was bouncing dead super, super fast. Bounce, bounce, bounce. It crossed the dead ball line, but didn't touch the ground, and Cordner caught it and carried it, technically, over the dead... Well, not over the dead ball line. It was already beyond it, but, you know, carried it dead. And it was given a 20-meter restart. And no one in the commentary noticed. I certainly didn't notice back in 2019. I didn't notice it while rewatching the game a couple of years ago. So, yeah, interesting. Interesting. All right, Cleary. Short ball there to Isaiah Papali'i. We'll get an offload back to find Nathan Cleary here. Sort of does a goosey stutter step. 8.5 minutes left in this first half. This is only the second. Penrith are very much on the attack here. Talangi back in field there. Was Liam Henry, I believe, with it. Tough tackle there from Parramatta. Lussick. Now to find Nathan Cleary. Will just run himself. Gets a good offload, actually, to Isaiah Yeo. Talangi had an option through Milky Jenkins. Will take a tackle himself. Papali'i's in a dummy half. He's going to have a go himself. Gets a wild pass out wide to find the Milky Jenkins, who's forced over the touchline. It wasn't a bad option from iPad. Sort of attracting some numbers and getting a ball out wide. Jenkins is able to finish those 9 times out of 10, but that wasn't one of them.
Lorenzo Theraborn just redeemed, changed the background color. Holland, he's a blue, just like his dad. Now he's at the Etihad. Ha, ha, ha. Holland, hey Holland. League, ha, ha, ha. Holland, hey.
Well, I didn't hear that because my audio stopped working, but I'll switch it to blue. That's a timeout. That's a timeout, Lorenzo. I'm sorry. That's absurd. I remember saying ages ago, please don't abuse the text-to-speech on the change background color. That's abusing it. That's absolutely abusing it. I don't know how much I talked over that. I didn't realize my audio was dead. Is it still... I swear down, I need to get a new cable. I had a cable that was better and I left it up in Sydney. It drives me up the wall. The wall, I say. Actually, do you know what? I'm gonna try and see if Bluetooth. At this point, I'm driven up the wall by it. All right, anyway, Milky Jenkins returning the ball here. You know, controversial here, but I think that touching kids is not good. I do, however, like the word nonce. It's a brilliant word. Brilliant word. We don't really use it in Australia, though. Generally. Why did you ban me, says Rugby NRL guy? Because you asked to be banned, which I think you know. No, audio's not working. It's working for you guys, but it's not working for me. God damn it! I love when things work as they are supposed to. You swear down, I must have missed it. You did swear, but I didn't swore. Didn't say a swore. Okay, audio's working again. Alrighty. Penrith have genuinely been cruising since round 5, unless they play Tigers for some reason. And it's been good enough to get them wins, and I absolutely think that they are going to continue to get wins and be an absolute nightmare to play against at the back end of the season. Although we are kind of in the back end of the season already. But point is, I'm surprised by this. I am surprised by this. Yeah, Madsen, I saw that you downloaded my entire GTA stream. I think I replied to your message about it. It was crazy. I know you've downloaded stuff in the past, but that's I don't know how you have that much storage. Insane. Absolutely insane. All right. Jackson Edgar now returning the ball up to the 20. I said earlier that if it was 12-6 at halftime, I would absolutely take that. It would set up a tantalizing second half, and that's sort of looking like how it's going to play out. Matson says, I have lots of hard drives. I have never known someone to have lots of hard drives who wasn't in some respect or another on a particular register that you don't want to be on, if you catch my drift. However, I don't think that would be you. So, here we go. The outro to K in the Name Of, which is the song that his son has on his music playlist, is literally the singer shouting, F you, I won't do what you tell me over and over again to give you an understanding. Great. Okay. Yeah. So not exactly, you know, the music I listen to, which is, you know, Eleanor Rigby picks up the rice in the church where a wedding has been, lives in a dream, waits at the window, wearing a face as she keeps at the jar by the door, who was it for? Not quite that. Not quite that. I'm just collecting for your dirt file. I don't think there was anything super bad in that stream. I think we're okay. Oh, no. That wasn't. Nah. There wasn't. There wasn't. All right, Moses now to find Pensini. It was, I think Jenkins knocked it on into Wiongi there. But anyway, whatever. I should probably get some. I really have an issue with storage on my laptop. I can't store any old footage. All right, this is the last now. They're going to be kicked from just the 30 middle line. He's angled it really quite heavily. I tell you what, we have 20-40s and we have 40-20s. If we had 30-30s, that would have been very, very close to one. Very close to one. It was a great kick. But it's going to be Penrith ball. Oh, no, it was touched. It was touched by Brian Toto. It's going to be Penrith ball. And Toto, I think, is a challenge, but they have lost their challenge. That's not touch Toto. That's not touch Toto. I think that's a bad call, unfortunately. Yeah. It's gone past it, but they got a challenger and they lost their challenge earlier on. Pretty sure Bizza didn't touch that. I agree with you. I definitely don't think he touched that. All right. So played there. Now on to find Jack Williams. Parramatta, again, we said this earlier, very good opportunity to score a try here. And if they do, go in 18-6 at halftime. Well, there's space out there. Volkman gets it out to find Samarani, and Cleary's gone down in defense. So Samarani will just take a tackle there in order to not give away a penalty. It's going to be De Silva in a dummy half here. Great call, says Mario. I don't think it was, but anyway. Walker on Anify Moses, kick in behind. It was not in any way surely what he was trying to do there. Didn't go in goal. It was on the third. You at least got to put it in goal on the third. That's a really poor option, unfortunately, there from Mitch Moses. Lorenzo says, ain't gonna lie, I'm happy with the timeout, W Leaguie. Thank you. I don't think anyone's ever said that before. Error there, Jenkins, and they've lost their challenge earlier on. You love to see it. Yeah, love to see it. All right, back to the greenback room. Are you interested in politics? Very. Yes. Pretty much the content that I watch now on YouTube is either politics or scam baiting, one of the two. Those are the two categories that I watch, so yeah. I'm not sure what you're saying, though. He was later sacked by the party's 84-year-old leader. I'm not sure who you're talking about. There was, speaking of politics, there was a reel that I got earlier today on Instagram. It was a Channel 7 news reel about Albo, who was on an escalator, and the escalator stopped, and he kind of jolted forward a bit. That was the entire thing, by the way, and it was reported. Oh, he had a stumble on the elevator. And I commented, I didn't realize I was logged in as the Leaguie rather than my personal account, but anyway, I commented, that's it, I've seen enough, I'm voting One Nation now. And a lot of people didn't realize I was joking. As if, yep, that's the straw that broke the camel's back. Seeing Albo have a slight stumble on the escalators. All right, De Silva now going to the left-hand side. Moses with it. Volkman will put a kick in behind. That's a better kick than the one they had earlier, and Alamoti will carry it dead. With time winding down in this first half, it's not really going to be what Parramatta wanted. They're going to have maybe a chance for a field goal, I think. Madsen says thoughts on Big Chocky. I only know of Big Chocky insofar as Friendly Geordies has covered him. And frankly, I do think that Friendly Geordies is getting a little bit obsessive about Big Chocky. But anyway, yeah, I don't really agree with his political takes that I've seen of him. That's for sure. That's for sure. Certainly his defense of MBS. MBS? Not MBS. Brian Kelly might come up with a moment here. Has he got it? No, he's saying no. He's saying no. MBS is Mohammed bin Sulayem. Oh my god, what's his name? BRS. We're going to have a look at this. It was a good little option for Brian Kelly. Nearly came up with an unlikely, brilliant result. With no time left on the clock, there was a trainer there in back play. Kelly does kick. It doesn't really matter that anyone's onside or offside because it's just kicked for himself there. Brian Kelly is Marky Mark on Timu. If he comes up with this, is Marky Mark on what's a good brand? Rolex. It's going to be a penalty Parramatta minimum. Could it be penalty try? He's got hella close to it. Oh, he's that close. Could that, given how close he was, penalty try? No. They're ruling out penalty try. My God, he was close. 10 in the bin, of course. For the milkman. I would have given that a penalty try. Personally, I would have given that a penalty try. Given how close he gets. But, yeah. Yellow line time for Milky Jenkins. It's, they'll probably take the 2. Almost certainly take the 2. Jenkins is in the Rugby League bin. My timer is not having the best of times. It's synced up with NRL.com, which has set at 40 minutes right now, but I don't know why it says 41:23. We are not in the second half, funnily enough. Anyway, it's going to be a sin bin. I'm going to wait till the clock resets to the right time and then do it, because it takes note of what time was on the clock in order to then get rid of the yellow line later. Moses will take the 2 here. Damn, this is sad. I'm loving it personally. From a Roosters fan perspective, I'm loving it. It's a good time to get a sin bin as well. When you get a sin bin around the half-time mark... Oh, there we go. It's reset. When you get a sin bin around the half-time mark, you can have the 5 minutes sort of beforehand, and then they get a chance to rest throughout the break, and then 5 minutes after. You don't really get the chance to have that continuous 10-minute period of peppering their line. This is perfect. They're going to have a full 10 minutes coming out into the second half. Ideally, you'd want it to be the 10 minutes at the back end of the first half, but anyway, they get that uninterrupted 10 minutes. Moses, it's a very tough kick. Let's see if he can extend their lead to 8. Hits it, and is skewed it, and it's not going to go dead, so play is alive here. Play is alive. Martin gets it out to find Alamotti. He's not in enough room, though, and will take a tackle.
Yellow square emoji, 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 yellow square emoji. Yeah, baby.
Yeah, baby. Yeah, baby. That's it. Half time. Wow. 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 What a first half that was. What a first half that was. I thoroughly enjoyed that. 12-6. Penrith with the player in the bin. Rugby League, folks. It's pretty good, isn't it? 2 things that I said I was going to talk about at this halftime break, and I've forgotten both of them. Oh, I remember one. Oh, I remember the other. Cool. All right, I'm going to start with the first one. You have 2 cameras? I do not. No, this is the same camera as before. So, I had a dream yesterday. Very vivid dream. I dream remarkably vividly. And, like, I will remember the dream specifically. This dream was so, like, bro, I woke up 3 times only to realize that I was still dreaming. That's how conscious I was. There was a point, one of these wake-ups that I had, where I woke up, I was in my room, this room here. It was, like, to every detail, completely perfect. And I was like, okay, this is it. I'm actually awake now. Until I walked over to my window, looked outside, and I was in, like, an alpine mountain region, and there was snow everywhere. And I was like, that's not where my room is. Anyway, throughout this dream, one of my friends in real life, who's a big footy fan, we were sitting around a table, and he asked me, hey, Dylan, if you were to come up with a soccer starting 11 made up of NRL fullbacks, what would it be? And I was like, that's a tremendous question. And then I woke up. And I was like, that's such a good question. I need to put it together in real life. So I'm going to tell you guys what that team was. I played a 4-3-3 with a CDM, holding midfielder. In goal, it was Tom Trbojevic. I think he's the tallest of the fullbacks. So it just kind of made sense from that perspective. But also, unfortunately, does kind of mean that he doesn't move around as much. So is less likely to get injured. Agile enough, certainly as well. So that one made sense. I'm getting up the list because I think I remember it all, but not trusting myself entirely. Here we go. Right back, Clint Gutherson. Dependable. Honestly, this was one of the last positions I decided on. So I was really picking from who's left. But I think it's a solid all-rounder. Will do the job. Good defensive leader. My two centre-backs, Dylan Edwards, James Tedesco. Both very just solid physical guys. Will get through a heap of work, a heap of effort. Good tacklers. And just, like, as I said, physically really solid. I think they'd stand up to a lot of attackers. That made sense. Left back, I went for a bit of flair here. Went for a bit of an attacking left back in Jareem Buller. Obviously, Tigers fullback. He's got a little bit of speed about him, a little bit of grace about him. Will be certainly more left wing back style player. He would have been on the left wing, although I've got a player on the left wing I think is way more suited to it. Not your Clint Gutherson style. Certainly more expressive there on that left-hand side. CDM, Connor Tracy. That was the second last position I decided on. I just wanted someone who was a jack of all trades and someone who, like, he doesn't need to have a lot of output because my two centre mids are very, very high attacking. So I thought he'll get through the job. He can sit deep, just, sweep up around. And if they get through him, it's really not a problem because we have Edwards and Tedesco there as the centre backs. Two centre midfielders, Kalen Ponga, Scott Drinkwater. Both kind of playmaker-style guys. We've seen them both play 5'8" the points in their career as well. Playmakers in terms of their passing ability. Really good kicking with the ball. Expressive, attacking-minded. That's why you needed that CDM there. In attack, right wing, KO Weeks. Wanted some speed there. Gutherson is not the fastest of right back, so to have that speed with KO Weeks there as well is certainly good. And expressive in attack as well. Left wing, Hamiso Tabuai Fido. That was maybe the first one I thought of because he just seems like a left winger to me. If you were to have a player be a left winger, it's him. It's just him. Super fast, super attacking, super expressive, and really good goal celebrations as well. And at striker, Reece Walsh. Little fox in the box style player. A little bit of a pocket rocket. At his best, super expressive. Doesn't need to be like a big physical fullback either. Just comes up with results. So, yeah, that was my 11. The guys that didn't make the side, Sofa Longo, Jai Gray, Will Kennedy, Ting Torpiki, Isaiah Iongi, and there'd be one more, Count O'Kearney. Not to say that they're not like good fullbacks. It's obviously not that, but I'm looking at them as soccer players. And so many of them were just small, and really I think you can only have that as a striker. So, yeah. Cool. I haven't really seen many people engaging with that. Aside from saying Gotho was so slow. Walsh and Teddy would be like Messi and Ronaldo, and Sue would be like Lamine Yamal. Sure, I mean, I think Walsh is more the Falongo generation than the Teddy generation, but yeah. Yeah, someone top. I'm aware of that sound. I grew up next to Germany, so.
Did you see the Tigers news regarding Wahey refusing to play?
I am waiting for it to come out that that's not how it played out. it seems amazing if that's true. If he was asked to play lock and got in such a fight with the coach that he has refused to play, that's crazy. That's actually insane. And like, I'm typically someone who will downplay what's being said and say it's not really all that bad. That is insane that your halfback, a former captain of the club, is refusing to play. Wow. I think probably they'll come out and deny it. Although, no, the CEO said it. The CEO said it, didn't he? So I guess they won't deny it. Maybe they'll deny the specific details of it as to why the fight happened. But anyway, it's shocking. It's absolutely shocking. And I've been, unfortunately, pointing out for quite some time that the Tigers were in free fall. I think most people have really noticed now. But that's terrible. It's really terrible and such a shame for the Tigers. Sounds like Dewey kind of got a little angry. And so Benji admits he kind of got a little angry. GTA reference. What are your thoughts on Jason Saab to Lebanon? IRL has become a joke. No, it hasn't. It absolutely hasn't. This one move certainly doesn't mean that International Rugby League is a joke, and I certainly hope it doesn't spoil International Rugby League for you at the back end of the season, because it's going to be absolutely brilliant, the World Cup. Really looking forward to it, and I think a lot of people who say that, I'm not saying this is you, but I think a lot of other people who say that it's ruined the international game, I kind of didn't care about the international game much to start with. Anyway, I don't like it. I fall more on the side of he shouldn't be able to play than he should be able to play. But when you start breaking down what eligibility is, I think you expose a lot of the logical flaws around it. For instance, I was having a conversation about this with a content creator called King Deej or DJ. I don't know how to pronounce it, but he's an NRL streamer as well. And he said he had a big issue with it, and he was very vocal against it. And he said to me, quote, the only thing that should dictate eligibility is ethnicity. Is heritage. I don't know if he said ethnicity, but heritage, blood. And I said, okay, how do you feel about Nestroy and Rankunda playing for Australia? And that really, I think, made a lot of people think about it. I think, okay, it's not just blood. It doesn't just have to be blood. It is related to the culture in which you live, right? The culture in which you're raised, the country in which you live. And it's not the greatest of comparisons, because Aaron Kunda is an Australian citizen, Saab is not a Lebanese citizen. I'm not using it as a comparison to that. All I'm using it as is to say ethnicity isn't the only thing that matters. Blood is not the only thing that matters. It is more complex than that. So, yep, I don't think he should be able to play for Lebanon. I kind of, from an entertainment perspective, I'm glad that he is, because he's a very good player. But no, I'm not a fan of it. I'm not as, like, evidently, you said International Rugby League's become a joke. I'm obviously not that extreme on the other side either, but yeah. So many more people would care about the international game if it was competitive. Yeah. I mean, there's a level to it though, right? There's an extent of you don't just want it to be an all-star fixture. Already, a lot of people will criticize the international game because sides like Tonga and Samoa are largely made up of players who are from Tongan and Samoan parents but grew up in, Blacktown. But we don't have the luxury of choice there. We have to have that. Hopefully, in years to come, that won't be the case, but unfortunately, it is the case. And I think that they are very legitimately Tongan and Samoan. I am someone who set foot in Mauritius once in my life, and yet I'm very, very proudly half Mauritian. So I think there's a lot of people who are potentially not mixed race. They're Anglo or say maybe Indigenous Australian or 100% from any particular country, and they don't understand loyalties to more than one place. So link to Discord, it's in the description of this live stream. Wait, why is he able to play for Lebanon? Does he have a relative from there? His stepfather is Lebanese. And it is deeper than that. Like, his stepfather, his surname is Saab. For all intents and purposes, the stepfather is his father. I don't know exactly his biological father, the role he's played, but I do know that the stepfather is the man who raised him, and he was raised in a Lebanese culture, to the extent where, yeah, his two parents, neither of their surnames are Saab, but he took his stepfather's surname. So it is a very, very deep connection, but I can see why it's controversial. I'm going to say something else as well. We're coming towards the end of the first half. I did something the other day which made me very emotional, and I'm not a very emotional person. I've cried. This is insane to people that don't know this. I've cried once in the last probably about 10 years. Honestly, I know that might surprise a lot of people. I don't really have much to cry about in my life. I've got a very good life. The time that I cried was literally seeing my grandfather on his deathbed. So, you know, that will happen. But this brought me close to it. I felt like I was mourning a bit. There's a show that I used to watch back in the day. It was called The Late Show with Stephen Colbert. It meant a lot to me as a person. I loved watching the show. I would watch every episode. It wasn't everyone's cup of tea, but it was an American talk show. I loved Colbert himself. I thought it was a very funny comedian. I loved the guests that he had on. And I liked his takes on politics. Anyway, the show was cancelled about a month ago. And they had a last episode. And the guest that they had on for the final episode was Paul McCartney, who is my favorite musician of all time. I think he's the greatest musician to have ever walked this earth. And aside from relatives, he's probably my favorite person on the planet. So it was these two people who were my favorite people in their particular industries talking to each other. I couldn't bring myself to watch the final episode when it aired. And I waited, what was about 2 months. And in my head, I was like, if I don't watch the final episode, the show's not really over. I can go on without having experienced that finality. But I eventually matured up, got the resolve. It was late at night, and I watched it. And yeah, it had me on the brink of tears. It was so perfect. But I just thought, if you're going through something in your life where you're struggling to confront something, this was far from the biggest struggle that people have had, right? It's such a beautiful, positive thing rather than a negative thing. But the power of just confronting it, of just doing it, and then coming out of the other side, is a truly commendable thing for a human being to be able to do. And I've had to do it very little in my life, but that was one of the times, and I feel good for it. Anyway, it was like I was living in a little bit of denial about it, and I'm glad to have come through it now. What song did they sing on the final show? Hello, Goodbye, which you mentioned earlier, and that's what reminded me of this story. So anyway, with all due respect, that's one of the most soy cuck type stuff I've heard in a while. I'm a bit of a soy cuck type individual, so you know, I'm not surprised. Yeah. But yeah, I'm not pretending. I'm not saying weep for me. Certainly not. But I've had to experience not a lot of hardship in my life, and that was one of them. Favorite player, Connor Watson. I love Connor Watson. Unfortunately, he's going to be leaving next year, and it will probably be Walker, Fluff, Savala. It's a bit late to get on the Tedesco train, so. All right, we're coming out for the second half. Confirming, by the way, I will unfortunately not be streaming on Saturday. I'm going to be out at the Raiders game. I thought maybe I could come back in time to then do Cowboys and Broncos, because that's going to be a sick game. But I'd kind of be pushing it a little bit, and there's I'd rather just be able to enjoy the game. So, yeah. But we'll be back on Sunday. And as I say, after the stream on Sunday, if you're on the Discord, there'll be a Discord exclusive live stream with me and Larry Talks, where he purports to be anti-bunker. It's going to be very, I think, intellectual. So be there for it. Very interactive as well. It's game set bingo, GG Eels for the win. No, it is not. It is absolutely not. I love Penrith fans losing by 6 at halftime, and they're like, that's it. My team's finished. We're washed. Never before has a team performed this badly. Why are we not winning by 20 points? This makes no sense. This game is fundamentally stupid. Like, oh, come on. Come on. Come on. Oh, Watson's going to be doing the honor guard thing for the goals game. How did you get involved with that? I will be there for the goals game, so I'll be able to see you do that. All right. Kick there on the last from Penrith. Catch there from Young. You didn't need to jump up for that one, so just takes it on the ground. Melbourne is also bad. No. You put up a brilliant performance against the Roosters. If Saab grew up in Lebanon and spent time like you in Netherlands, then I'll consider them representative of their nation. Yeah, I can see that. I mean, I don't feel Dutch, really, in terms of blood. I feel uncomfortable representing the Netherlands on the international stage. I could have been a Dutch citizen. I opted not to be. But I lived there long enough to be. But, yeah. Yeah. As I say, I do fall on the side of he shouldn't be playing for Lebanon, but not as dramatically as most. All right. They're up over the 40 here. On the last, Silva gets it out to find Mitchell Moses. Kick up over the top. Underneath it is going to be Edgar, who again catches it on the ground. Excuse me. Got another cool story, by the way, for today. It's not very cool, actually. It's very sad, but it's funny. And it's sad for me, and so you guys are going to get comedic value out of it because you enjoy when I go through hardships. So, I don't have the greatest of record when it comes to relationships. I've not been in one for a very, very long time. Had a few things that have cropped up here and there, but through whatever series of unfortunate events, always really funny, like the way that they come to an end. I don't know why, but they always are. And ends up just capitulating some way or another. Anyway, met someone earlier this week. I'm not going to say her name. I'm also not going to give any information about it because it wouldn't be fair to her. And we got along really, really well. Saw each other a couple of times throughout the week, and today we met up for the first time one-on-one. She's new to Canberra, and I showed her around the building and stuff. We went out, got a drink, went up to the rooftop of one of the nearby buildings to my building, which is a nice little spot with a really cool view. Anyway, spoke for about an hour. Eventually, I had to go off to a meeting, so we were walking away. Went so well. We got along like a house on fire. And then she says that she has a long-term boyfriend. Wasn't good. Yeah. I laughed it off. I didn't show really the emotion at the time and still probably up. But I was like, how did that not come up earlier? How has that happened? How did we... Oh. Not what you want. Not what you want. It's the first time that that's happened to me. That I've gone out with someone who's like, hey, I have a boyfriend, by the way. Like, after an hour and a half of hanging out. But anyway. Yeah. Should I get the cock chair for you? I really did feel like one. Yeah. I really did feel like one. I think we are going to be good friends, though. I think it's going to be a story that we look back on and laugh at. But not what you want. Not what you want. Big oofed. It was a very, very big oofed. Other bodies down here. Volkman is not really saying that anything went wrong in the tackle, nor would he, but Sutton agrees. Yeah, it was a little awkward, but I don't think it was illegal. Last goal I confessed to was lesbian, and then I decided I like dudes. What a coming out story for you, Danny. That's unreal. That's unreal for you. No, League, you're too good for it. I'm definitely not. She's absolutely lovely. But it was certainly funny. I will say, the moment that it happened, I was like, this is going to make a great story for the stream later today. That was like maybe my first thought. So maybe that's why I don't have good records with relationships. Anyway, you'll get one soon, bro. Don't worry. Yeah. I've been told that for a while. This is giving me some hope that Penrith may not win the comp and the competition is alive. It is. They've lost 3 of the last 4. Like, this would... Parramatta are not making the most out of this in-min period. That's for sure. But, it's... Yeah. It's showing that they're mortal. You seem like the kind of person who would be writing down the play-by-play in the corner. No. I definitely take offense to that. That's not me. Despite the circumstance. But, yeah, not the best record, unfortunately. So she had a boyfriend and you're married to Rugby League. How is that supposed to work out? You know what? That's fair enough. However, Rugby League, unfortunately, doesn't give me the emotional support in moments that I want from a significant other. So, Sam Roney was nearly through. Ankle tap by Papali'i. If he kept his feet there, Para score. They're going to go down the short side here. De Silva will kick sort of half for himself. And it's Edgar who covers it up there. So they're trapped within their 10, but De Silva's annoyed with himself. Jobo says up the Raiders and then up the milk. Well, that's a confusing one because Jobo is Jake Jawoyevich. What's the story there? What's the story there? Cleary has more fantasy points than he did last week, I guess. You know what? That's a win. Penrith Premiership favourites. No dramas. No dramas. What do you think about KO Weeks? I love it. I love KO Weeks. I think it's super entertaining to watch. So fleet-footed. I don't think there's a fullback in the league who are back to have more acceleration off the mark than KO Weeks. So, you got to reach out to the NRL and collab. The National Rugby League themselves. Nah, I don't think they'd have me. I don't think they'd have me. Still on top, I won't be doing that. Oh, error from Brian Kelly. God damn it. Para are really wasting this sin bin period, bro. Really wasting it. Yeah, it was a bad play of the ball. Bad play of the ball. Someone said, would you go out with a Bunnies fan? Sorry, would you marry a Bunnies fan? So, yes. And I've often said that this would actually be a really good relationship for me because the banter would be brilliant. But I was asked earlier today, would you go out with a rugby union fan or an AFL fan? And I was like, yeah. Yes, I would. I'm not that hard-coded to being a rugby league, you know, what would even be the word there? Like obsession posted thing. Yeah, I'm not that hard-coded, right? I don't care that deeply. It's not a requirement for me. The only condition, as we learned today, is that the person is not already in a long-term relationship. Beyond that, bruv, I don't care. I don't care. My nickname is Jerbo because of my headgear, because I have the same and my headgear starts with J. Sorry, my headgear starts with J, my name starts with J. Very cool. I like that. I like that. Thoughts on Siwa Wong? I love Siwa Wong. I said that about KOEs as well, but I like Siwa Wong a lot more. I think he's super underrated and will really be one of the premier back rowers in the league one day. Cleary on to find Talangi. Tackled there is going to be Billy Phillips. Do Bunny fans have a lot of kids? They breed like rabbits. That they do. Cleary will put a kick in behind, and it's caught beautifully there by Tinkham Brown. Again, though, with only 2 minutes left in this sin-bin period, it's Parramatta probably in their last set of the period, coming off their own goal line. Do they have to be a goal? Yes, they do have to be a goal, unfortunately, WTF. Tragic. Samuel Gardner says, let's go if Panthers first on ladder lose and Roosters win. Tied for points, it could happen. Roosters best team. It could happen. I mean, so are the Warriors there as well. But if I said this earlier, if Penrith lose this game and Warriors and Roosters both win, the top 3 are going to be level on points. That's going to be so cool. Storm on top, I am not going to say it. Not going to say it. All right, kick there from Para on the last. 1.5 minutes left to the sin bin period. And it's going to be McLean returning the ball. All right. Talangi in a dummy half. Across to find Edgar. Any Penrith fans in the chat know much about Jackson Edgar? I had never heard of him until, like, right now. 20-year-old fullback. Who did make his debut last year. Played 1 game, 2025. I thought this was his NRL debut. But evidently not. I was wondering why they weren't making a bigger deal about that. Anyway. 6 again there for the Penrith Panthers. And that will see Parramatta not retain the ball. While the sin-bin period is in fact in act. Because Jenkins has actually just come back onto the field. The yellow line will go away in a second. All right. Played it by Scotty Sorensen. It's going to be Lussinger at dummy half. They're about 20 meters out. They get it to Cleary. This is the 3rd. Back to Talangi, who has knocked that on, I think. It's going to be ruled a knockback. It's going to be ruled a knockback. Okay. I see that call. I see that call. I can see why he would have ruled it that way. Is rugby league growing in Europe? Yes. Very, very slowly, though. Cleary with it. Short ball to find Liam Martin. Will stand in the tackle. Takes it there. So I'm going to go here. Half an hour left in this game. Lussick. Short ball, crash plays, the option, and Henry has scored. Easy there. Crash ball. He got one-on-one with a Parramatta defender. And I tell you what, there was a 10-minute period where they were a man up the Eels. Unfortunately, they made absolutely nothing out of it. Penrith came out brilliantly from it. And very first set with the full contingent back on the field, Penrith get a try. I can see why that was ruled a knockback. I think it probably did go backwards. We see them ruled knock on, for sure, at times, but I do see why that was ruled knock back, and I don't mind the call. Thoughts on Dargs being out of the finals race? Are they mathematically out of the finals race? I thought they might still make a push. Thoughts on how the NRL should use that TV money, says Dixon Myers. It's not for me to decide. And I also don't have the information in front of me really to be able to make an informed call about that. I think one of the big things, and I've never made content on this, but I've wanted to for a long time. One of the big areas where the game is dying is country rugby league. I would love to see more investment go that way. It's a massive pipeline of talent that we are just going to lose. We're just going to lose. And it's really like you go out to those country towns and there are places where rugby league was once like the thing that brought the community together. Those are real rugby league heartland fans. And yet the clubs just aren't funded anymore. And so we're losing that. We're losing rusted on rugby league people. Those people move to the city and, they go through different pipelines and hopefully will still end up in our game, but not necessarily. There's a lot more going on in the city. So, I think that's an aspect that I'd like to see some investment. That's a knock on. I see both sides of it. I don't mind the call. Rugby 02 says I'm on a 45 stream streak. You are. Jesus Christ, that is crazy. I don't even know if I've been here for 45 consecutive streams. Insane. Thank you so much. Much appreciated. 12 points apiece it is. Half an hour left in this game. You just get the feeling that it is not going to be the Eels coming home with a wet sail in this, unfortunately. You just get that feeling. I don't know if I told you, but next year I'm going to do some reffing, I take it you mean, for younger grades to see how I go. Credit to you. I hope you enjoy reffing. That'll be really, really cool. Really cool. All right, run there from Nathan Cleary up over the 40. Will he get an offered away? No, he won't. Sam Ronnie tackles him, as well as Volkman and Harrison Edwards. Now Lussick to find Talangi to kick on the last. There were people in the pre-game, I don't know who it was specifically, but I think it was Yvonne Sampson calling him Blaze Taulangi, as in Murray Taulangi. It's not Taulangi, it's Talangi. But anyway, who are you rooting for? Parramatta. I mean, definitely from an underdog perspective, but also a faint hope that maybe the Roosters will be able to overtake the Penrith Panthers, being only 2 points behind them. The poll on YouTube, now this really does surprise me. I'm sorry, but after 131 votes, how do you guys, 53% of you guys reckon Parramatta are going to win this game? That's got to be a heart vote and not a head vote, because that's absolutely insane. I don't believe you. I straight up do not believe you. You haven't? There was an infamous fire alarm stream. Yeah, but I was there for that stream. It happened again yesterday, by the way. We had 2 alarms in one day, and I was on a stream with Hainsey and Lummy from Roosters Tricolors TV. And it was really funny because Hainsey challenged me to the refereeing debate. We didn't get into the weeds of it. But we had a little bit of a discussion about it. It was fun. And as soon as Hainsey said, I'm going to challenge Leaguie to this debate right here, right now, the fire alarm went off. So it was like I'd set a fire in my building to try and get out of debating Hainsey. I was gone for like half an hour. Loved it. Tiger Walker says, I accidentally clicked Para. Ah, yes, that'd be what swung the 131 vote poll. But anyway, kick for Nathan Cleary. It's inside the 40. It's got a bit on it in terms of angle. No, we'll bounce back towards the middle of the field. Where was that on? It was on Sydney Roosters Diehard's YouTube. It's Hainsey's YouTube channel. Well, one of his YouTube channels. Did you go to the World Cup watch party? I did. It was quite a lot of fun. Except for the game itself, which was piss boring. Oh my god. Maybe the worst sporting contest I've seen in my life. Jesus Christ. Nothing happened. One side didn't show up. The other side couldn't score to save their lives. Their crosses were terrible. They kept trying the same thing again and again. It didn't work. Emi Martinez, brilliant performance. I have to say that. But my goodness gracious me, it was diabolically bad. I'm glad Spain won. I was going for Spain. I tipped Spain to win the World Cup. They won the World Cup. I know ball. But, you know, Jesus, if there's any advertisement for how terrible soccer is to watch as a sport, there you go. Because on the biggest stage, in the biggest game, with the world watching, they delivered that. And my goodness gracious me, it was god-awful. Anyway. Now in the hands of Dylan Walker on the 4th here. They're going to kick early. It's angled towards the sideline and it beats Josh Adokar. It was a little trick play for the Fox. Couldn't come up with it. The Soccer World Cup is a fake World Cup, though. It is. It is. Rugby League World Cup, a real World Cup. I have not watched a single soccer game in full ever, not even the highlights of this World Cup at all. That is impressive. That's impressive. I unfortunately have. Soccer is by far the most insane outlier in how good a sport is and how popular a sport is. There are some outliers. There is no outlier that even comes close to that sport. And I understand it because it's culturally ingrained and it's super easy. You have 4 jumpers and a thing you can kick around and you can play a game of soccer in a favela, in a schoolyard, no matter where. It just translates around the world. And rugby league can never be that because our game is way too complicated. But wow, it's so boring. It really is. Alamotti gets the ball out to Brian To'o here. Oh, absolutely braced the ankles of Sam Rani. It's going to be 6-4 here for Penrith. So, great opportunity for them to get in the lead for the first time in this game. Cleary dummies, runs himself. Did have a half break there. If he had support, he could have gone off that away. Quick play the ball. Gets it to Liam Martin. He'll score. He'll score 1-on-1 with Ronnie Volkman. Was never going to be stopped from there. And Penrith take the lead. That's not it. R and T are next to each other on the keyboard for me, and those are the buttons. It's a try. WTF says, I hate this sport. It's times like this where I'm like, God damn it. They're just inevitable. Look, they play against 15th. If you want to take some consolation out of it, there it is. But, like, as I said earlier, you just knew it's not going to be Para coming home with a wet sail there. You can play touch rugby pretty easy, and that's a lot of fun. Yeah, more so, for sure. It depends how complicated you want to get with it. But, like, you know, refereeing the 10 meters, refereeing touch lines, try lines, dead ball lines, like all that stuff. It is easier to play, for sure, but there's a reason why in this country, despite soccer being less watched than rugby league, AFL, cricket, it would probably be in 4th place there, I would think. It's by far the most played sport. There's a reason for that. If Penrith score again, I think that's it, to be honest. I definitely agree. Yeah. To be honest, even now, I don't see Para coming back into it, but it's obviously not game over. I just don't think it will happen. But yeah. Someone said earlier, I do apologize for not seeing it initially. I think something came up. I hope you're still here and I can respond to it. Someone said first time viewer watching from Wigan. Shout out to you. I apologize for not answering your question. I read it and then something else happened. I can't remember. But love Wigan. It's part of the world that I've been to a number of times and that I relate with a lot. The DW Stadium is an awesome ground. I really like the design of it. It perfectly blends together the like local English ground vibe with like actually being a decent capacity stadium. So yeah. Hello Jacob, I'm doing very well. How are you? Doing very well. I'm gonna work on a video a little bit after this. Might have a short out as well. I noticed, so Winston Neville's been making a lot of International Rugby League content, and I'm like, I know what you're doing. I know what you're doing, bro. You want to be the International Rugby League guy, but I want to be the International Rugby League guy. He's doing it very well. He's doing it very well. So I need to catch up with him on that. So I'm hopefully going to do some stuff like that. How is that a 6 again? Baffles me, says Chico. I'm going to be real. I didn't see it. Favorite non-Roosters player? Dominic Young. Played there by Edgar, so it's Lussick now in a dummy half. Gets to Martin, now on for Nathan Cleary. Run there from, I think that's Phillips. Phillips. Yes, it is. I, for the longest time, was not able to tell the difference between Billy Phillips, Billy Scott, all the generic white boys that are coming through at Penrith right now. They all have the same face as well. Jack Cole looks like Billy Scott, who also looks like Billy Phillips. Like, it just is the case.
Lorenzo Theraborn just redeemed Pepsi Max Sip.
There you go, King. Happily. All right. Run from Brian Kelly. They need to score next, Parramatta. They need to score next. 100%. They get it 6 more. That's what they needed. That is what Le Doctor ordered. Of course, you still like Dom Young. Yeah, I mean, if he scores against us tomorrow night, I'm going to be absolutely devastated and I'll weep uncontrollably for hours. But there will be a part of me that's like, go Dom. So, Parramatta waited all game for a 6 more, and they just got 2 there in quick succession. Tuolangi is through. He's got support inside. He finds the support. Unfortunately, there's going to be too much defense around for Yongi to score. It's the first. Don't kick, bro. Don't kick. Moses is complaining about something here. We got a whistle. For something or other. I'm not sure what it was. Oh, Gerard Sutton saying professional foul. This could change everything. Let's see what it was. It was Papali'i. Yeah, he absolutely tackled Moses there. 100% he did. Good catch from Gerard Sutton. Yeah. It seems quite clear to me. Mario, thank you so much.
That's why you get the big bucks, baby. That's why you get the big bucks.
Why did I do this to myself? Actively hate everything to do with my team Para. Can't believe that I choose this as a 10 years old. I won't never change, don't ask, it will be all the sweeter when we win.
I would never ask you to change. Absolutely not. I remember when I first revealed that I was a Roosters fan, there was a Rabbitohs fan, I don't remember who it was, but wrote essays in my comments, basically struggling to come to terms with it and saying, the Roosters are the antithesis of everything you stand for. They represent this, that, and the other. And I'm like, it's not... I disagree with his reasoning, right? Anyway, I disagree with the contents of what he said. But what the logical premise of what he said, the fallacy of it was that it treats who you support as a decision, as a conscious decision. It's not a conscious decision, or at least it wasn't for me. You can never change. You couldn't flick that switch and suddenly go for someone else. It's not something that's doable, in my mind. So, yeah. I don't think it was Subway Reckless Ollie. I don't think it was. He might have done it a bit, but that's not who I was thinking of. Anyway, here we go. The most important 10 minutes of the game happening right now. If Para can come out of this 10 minutes with the lead, that's massive. Iongi on to find Pensini. Good sliding defense there from Penrith. No way through, out wide for Parramatta. It wasn't you either, Chico. You had said a bit, but you were not the person I was thinking of. Walker. We'll take a tackle there 10 meters out. Why are they spamming? You're allowed to spam yellow boxes, yellow squares when it's a sin bin. To make yellow lines, basically. Demus says it was hard for me to come to terms with as well, Leaguie. I'm sure. This is the last. Moses to kick. Not really across field. Didn't have a lot on it. That's a poor kick. Moses' kicking has been awful. And it's going to be a penalty here. For a 2-on-1 strip, I think. Yeah. Oh, no. For a crusher. Penalty Penrith. This is what cost Para earlier on during the sin-bin period. They spent too much of it down the wrong end of the field. Moses' kicking in attack has been truly diabolical. That one there landed on Cleary with no Parramatta Eels anywhere to be seen. The one earlier, he kicked it on like the third and it didn't find the end goal whatsoever. Was it Alex Neil? Very good chance it was Alex Neil. Very good chance. All right, can we not have the yellow lines anymore, please? Thank you. Kick for touch. I will say for South Sydney fans, like, it was particularly bad for them, not only because I was revealed to be a Roosters fan, but that video, if you haven't seen it, I started it, I was off camera, my background colors were red and green, and I walked onto camera to the sound of the South Sydney Rabbitohs theme song, wearing a Rabbitohs jersey, and I sat down, and I turned to the camera, and I smiled, and then went, incorrect. And then when I clicked, I was in a Roosters jersey. So it was rough. I did it as a live premiere, and I remember seeing like all the South fans celebrating and they going, no. It was kind of brutal. One of the best things I've done. Truly. All right. Penrith have it here. It's the third. They're on the halfway line. Cleary.
Rugby 02 just
It's
redeemed
fine.
Pepsi
Edgar's
Max
done well
set.
there. Best run of the game so far for Jackson Edgar, stepping around the middle of the field. Edgar showing a bit of what he's about there. I love it. Lussick to find Nathan Cleary. Puts boots the ball high up in the air. Underneath. Good catch there, Yongi. Hello, smart guy. Good to see you. How you going? Yeah, but you had to wear a South shirt? I did. And it was not fun. And I remember the video calling my dad, who was like, oh, no, don't do that. But anyway. How did we not realize you're a Roosters fan? You literally posted a vid meeting the players. Gosh, we are dumb. I thought for sure that people were going to realize at that point. But anyway. There were a lot of very subtle things that I did as well. In thumbnails, I would always be like pointing at the Roosters. Like I had a number of like ladder prediction videos and I'd have the Roosters there and I'd be pointing at them and stuff. Good line break from Tuolagi. Again though, only gets it up to the 40. This is the last. It's not the attacking field position that Parramatta need. Kick there from Mitch Moses, who just hoists it high up in the air. Underneath it is going to be a good catch from Brian Toto. Very good catch. Hey Leaguie, someone just redeemed a thing.
Smart guy yay just redeemed changed the background color. Broncos maroon to manifest another win.
Parramatta, I swear down, you are fumbling this game so hard. How have you given away 2 penalties to Penrith coming out of their own end? Broncos maroon? Sure. I'll do my best. Freaking, oh my days, bro. This is frustrating me so much. I'm not even a Parramatta fan. I was resigned to them losing this game, but they're absolutely costing themselves. Yeah, it was funny. There were a lot of people who were super confident that I followed particular clubs that were just not correct. Not correct. I just want to say you made it very obvious I was just dumb and believed some. I don't think that's true. I don't think I did make it obvious. I think afterwards pointing out all of the signs, it's easy to be like, oh, of course I should have noticed. But like, why would you have possibly thought to pay attention to what club I was pointing to in particular thumbnails? Like, that's a really insignificant detail. And like, I still point at clubs in thumbnails now and it doesn't mean anything. So, I think it's only obvious once they're all pointed out. Cleary's through here off an offload. Iongi does get a tackle there. I thought that Cleary was going to get away from him. But anyway, this is the last. Talangi with it. Is he going to opt to kick? He's not going to. They're going to go through the hands. Martin gets it back to Nathan Cleary. Will he get an offload away? He will. It's going to be Scott. That's forward. That's forward. How was that play on? It's 6 more? Okay, we got a whistle there. Okay, for the touchy. Thank God, because that was maybe the most forward pass I've seen in my days. Sutton didn't see it. The touchy did, thank God. Wow. Wow. They low-key fumbling in this game more than I fumbled my dating life, says Tiger. Yes, literally. Literally. The timer? Why is the timer stopped? Has it stopped? The timer has stopped. There is absolutely no reason why the timer does stop, but it has stopped. It's not, in fact, pre-match, by the way, but I'm resetting the timer. Did Penrith play Eels again this season? They played earlier this year, from memory. All right. You literally hinted at it when you mentioned that Latrell Mitchell was your favorite player at one point and the Roosters interview. Yeah, I mean, that certainly is true. I mean, there's a lot of players that I like that don't play at the Roosters. My favorite player has... Yeah, maybe they have always been a Rooster. I don't know. It says pre-match because I was resetting the clock. That's the correct time now. Lussick get it dummy half. On to find Smith. Now to Lungy. To fight Casey McLean. They've got somehow a 2-on-2 situation. You should never really have that when you're a man up. But anyway... Played by McLean. Jenkins back to find Cleary. It's been Penrith on the attack this whole sin bin period. Alamotti taps it back. Catching it on the fly there was, I think, Freddie Lussick. It's still alive here. Martin gets it out to find Talangi. Puts a kick up over the top. Jenkins is there. It bounces for him, and that's unforgivable. Penrith will win the game. You would think. I know there's still 13 minutes to go, but my goodness me. 2 sin bins to the Penrith Panthers, and Para have entirely, unequivocally failed to capitalize on those opportunities. That is so massively frustrating. Try time to the Penrith Panthers. What a shame. What a shame. 22-12, it is. The sad thing in the team reveal threw me off, and as I already knew you were a Roosters fan, yeah, that does make sense. That does make sense. God damn it, bro. What a kick over the top. Beware the second kick always, and it's so hard to defend. But Jenkins, of course, is going to get a try. Chico, that's not on from you. Sorry. I was gonna pull you up for just, saying F word, I hate Penrith so effing much. Let's just keep it positive. But you've come out and said, someone said he's happy, and you've come out and said, I hate you. Imagine being a Penrith fan. Sorry, bro. I have to time you out for that. You can't come in. I know, you're a loyal fan. I thank you for that. But literally look at anyone else's messages here and look how yours contrasts to that. Please don't bring the vibe down to a negative way like that. Chico. It's frustrating, but don't express it that aggressively, please. All right, we're gonna go back to the green background. So, I've just got a message from Hectic Fred. We might be all systems go here. He seems keen. I still haven't seen the clip of him saying that he will do it. There's anyone who has seen that, can you please send it to me? I really, I'd be so interested in checking it out. But anyway. Kick there from Cleary. He converts it. 24 points to 12 it is. Goal for the Panthers. Okay, well. Okay. I guess I'm going to debate Hectic Fred on it. That's going to be fun. Your channel birthday is 14th of February, Valentine's Day. It is. How did we not realize there's a reference to your love for number 2 and the Roosters are the second most premiership wins? We are dumb. Or my love for rugby league, maybe, is a more obvious connection there. Can you do it now? I wouldn't do it right now. No, I'm not. I would want to prepare a little bit. But
That's
anyway.
why you get the big bucks, baby. That's why you get the big bucks.
My team is a curse.
It is a curse.
Crossbones emoji. Skull and crossbones emoji. Skull and crossbones emoji.
Skull and crossbones emoji it is. I have seen your team just get the ball back there, so, there's a half chance that they can get a quick try, but anyway. I didn't delete anything, Smart. I'm not sure what you said or who deleted it, but anyway. You think if Panthers score a try, it's over? To be honest, I pretty much think it's over anyway right now. I just don't see Para doing anything with the ball, but yeah. So George has more than Chooks. I don't think that's true. Is it? I thought we were second most. Either way, St. George don't exist anymore. But, Kitiona Katonga, close to the line. I'm going to commentate this one last play, and then I'm going to look that up. I thought we were second. Anyway, Volkman back to find Walker. Now on for Moses. Iongi with it. There's a 3-on-2. There's nothing doing out there for Brian Kelly, and Penrith survive again. Oh, okay, Smart Guy, I get it. It was the Chico messages. Both have 15. Ah, okay. Is that counting the one? Ah, okay, yeah. It's not counting the one that St. George Illawarra won in 2010, because that definitely doesn't count. But anyway. Tied second with St. George makes sense. Would it be possible for a team to have more players in the whole club than the rest of the comp? What are you... Nope. There's a limit of 30 players. Tana Silva's down. Sorry, I wasn't sure what you meant, Jet Lawrence, initially. De Silva is really in all sorts of Barney rubble here. Do you think your Roosters will win against Newcastle tomorrow? I do. Pong is out of that game as well, so that makes me more confident. I think Newcastle are going to be super up for it. It's such an important game for them to win. They've got away trips to Brisbane and Canberra in the weeks to come, so tricky games. If we lose... Honestly, like I said this to my dad earlier. I've I've seen us win some losable games in recent weeks. I think like it wouldn't be the end of the world for me, and I like Newcastle a lot. But yeah, God, I'm expecting a win for sure. Definitely expecting a win. That was a massive falcon on Talon Silver there. He's still down. His head is red, bro. Holy. Will the debating hectic thread on refs be in everyone's stream, not a silly Discord only stream for the Silly Billies Discord? Not salty, by the way, for real, for real. My bad on that specifically for you, Smart Guy. I apologize. No, if I debate hectic thread, it wouldn't be a Discord only stream. Who are you calling tomorrow? My dad. He'll probably be with my brothers anyway, so. Let's see this, yeah. Oh, yeah, it really just grazed the side of his head. So the ball kept going through, so it wasn't really an impact, but it was a real graze. Why are Roosters so much more boring this year than last year? Are we? I've enjoyed it more. You like Newcastle a lot, just like you love the Broncos, who are your second team. Verified fact, by the way. Yeah, sure, we'll give... yeah, okay. Definitely not, but we'll let you have that one. We'll let you have that one. On the bright side, I can give my para-supporting family grief over this. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. Although, really, is there much grief in losing to the Panthers? Not particularly. But anyway. If Chooks win, they mathematically sew up finals. I mean, I saw people saying that Roosters weren't going to make the finals at the start of the year, and I was like, okay. There are some opinions that if I had, I would not share, and that would be one of them. So, yeah, crazy. Crazy. If Para make a comeback where you say the F word on stream, yes, I will. It'll be worthwhile to me. Comeback to victory, not level points. Comeback to victory. Moses puts a kick up over the top. It's going to be caught by McLean. Simple as. Did he get that ball to the temple? That's why it hurt so much? Yes, he did. Sort of grazed the side of the head there. So, what happened to Charlie Geimer? Haven't seen him in weeks. Is he out injured? I believe I saw him as out injured on the NRL casualty ward. Let me check it out. He's not there now. He's not there now. I'm not sure. Excuse me. But the NRL casualty ward is notoriously god-awful. There is grief in blowing a 12-point lead with 2 bins going away against a Rift team on bad form. That's fair. That's fair. Penrith have just been really, really good in this game. Frustratingly, but anyway. Damas says, I got a black eye charging the ball down once. Worth it because I scored off it. Did you win the game? That will determine whether it was worth it or not. If you scored off it and got a black eye to reduce the lead from 60 to 54, slightly less worth it. But I respect that. I have so much respect for people that actually play this game as someone who is objectively nowhere near tough enough to do so. It blows my mind. Yes, you won the game. Beautiful. Beautiful. Definitely worthwhile then. All straight through here is Will Pansini. No support though. He does angle quite nicely there. Gets about 10 more meters than he really was entitled to with that step. But anyway, retreating defensive line here for Penrith. They spread the ball out wide. Not really much going on out there, unfortunately. Katonga with an offload back in field. 280. Oh no. And Penrith have got it. The offload was terrible. Really forcing the issue. And I get how with 7 minutes left you need to do that. But yeah, wow. Wow. It was rugby union though? Okay, well that makes it unforgivable. Of course. God damn. Really just nothing has gone Para's way in this. Despite, I'm not saying refereeing wise. Obviously they got 2 sin bins. But like, god damn. It's just not worked. Wow, thank you, Mario. It's about to come through. There we go.
The big bucks, baby. That's why you get the big bucks.
This wouldn't hurt so much if I didn't put so much of my Australian identity into this good damn team. Thanks, Jared Hayne.
That's interesting you say that Australian identity is Toto's through, gets it offload back in field. It was intercepted there by Tuivasa. Anyway, Parabol. Australian identity. I mean, I assume with a name like Mario, you're from somewhere else as well. Italy, presumably. But, yeah, what's the story there? Thank you for the $8, by the way. Brings us up to $60 for just this stream. And I think it's mostly beat Mario. So, cheers, as always, to you. Thank you very, very much. Is that commentary line of big bucks from Para and Panthers 22-3 golden point? Yes, it was. I believe so. I believe it was. What is the current try of the year? I'm bad with this. I always would say a try and then someone will mention another try and I'm like, oh yeah, no, it was that one. And then there's another one. I'm like, oh yeah, it was that one. I struggle to remember specific tries. I feel like Mark has done something freakish, surely. Surely, right? Volkman. On to find Yongi. On now for Josh Adokar. Sizes up the opposition. Good tackle from Paul Alamotti. They've got one left here, Parramatta. They'll spread it to the other side. They're 50 meters out. Volkman wants to kick up over the top. Another one landing in the midfield area. And McLean picks it out of the air. Sick. Great. Nah, I'm pleased. So happy. Super pleased. Yep, nah, this is good. Fine. Happy days. Good stuff. It's not good. It's really not. It's really not very good. It's so frustrating. Maybe given the context, Keanu Kinney's try against Brisbane was pretty spectacular. But the try itself wasn't like the... It was a really good try, but it wasn't like, you know, the most insane try of the year. But given the context, it was kind of crazy. Who did you put to win? Penrith, for sure. I can't believe how many people said Parramatta in the poll. That's crazy to me. That was a great try from Tino Tavana, but it was a preseason game, but would definitely have won it. Yeah, that was against Roosters. Probably would have, although I mean, the put down's brilliant, right? But I like a try that has a lot of different elements to it, lots of, you know, passes and stuff like that. So, Toto double grubber, yeah, that would take some beating. That was right in front of me. I was behind the goalpost on that end. That would take some real beating. Colombian born, okay, raised here, saw a light brown man do some very cool things in 07 and was hooked. The 9-10 season really locked me in. Cool, Colombian I would not have guessed, but obviously Mario's, it can be a Latino name as well, so nice. Hey Leaguie, someone just redeemed a thing.
Chico we 420 just redeemed, change the background color. Site change it to red and green.
Red and green it is. Chico always asks for red and green, being a South Sydney fan. No, I'll switch the other one to red. Who do you think could possibly make the top 8 in these last 7 rounds before finals? Well, hey, Leaguie, someone just redeemed going to make a bit of a video about that.
Rugby 02 just redeemed Pepsi Max Sip.
There you go. But I think that the middle part of the ladder is so hard to guess. Cowboys are going to get in there. I struggle to see how they don't get in there. Although they've got some losable games coming up. Beating the Broncos is very important for them. Timeout self.
420 just redeemed timeout self.
Timeout self it is. Yeah, it's such an important game for them to win against Brisbane. Other than that, I mean, they're already in the 8. I think the 8 will mostly just stay as it is. I think Dogs are a chance of maybe... Dogs and Seagulls are a chance of getting in ahead of South Sydney if their injuries do catch up to them. They've got a lot, but anyway. This is it. The game is on the line here. Hey, it's 6-1 for Parramatta. Timeout somebody else, bruv.
Timeout somebody
it's all happening.
Can timeout Lorenzo?
I will. There's 2 minutes left, and they've got a full attacking set here, Parramatta. Full attacking set. On now to find Harrison Edwards. So 2 minutes left. They need to score here if they want an absolute rugby league miracle to occur. Moses gets a short ball. They are going to score. Williams is in for a second. Hold on, folks. Hold on. Hey, Leaguie, someone just redeemed the thing.
Rugby 02 just redeemed Speed Dealer Sunnies.
It's literally all happening right now. It's all happening. Speed Dealer Sunnies it is. What a pass from Moses to find Jackie Williams. 2 for the big fella. It's well and truly big boy season. You'll love to see it. Again, we are hoping for a miracle. And you know, it's not going to happen, is it? Bruh.
Rugby 02 just redeemed head dent check.
That's not really a head dent. Cowboys have terrible points difference. I think that will see them miss out. They'll be equal with some others on points. Blues out of the 8 due to points difference. What's that points difference? Minus 36. Yeah, so it's a lot worse than those around them. Moses converts there. But they're 10 and 8. I think you need to be 13 and 11 to make the finals. So of their last 6, they need to go 3 wins, 3 losses. I think that they can do that. But we'll see. We'll see. Rabbitohs are, to me, the more dangerous side. Cowboys are 1 win ahead of them. Thank you, Brad.
Rain is the true enemy of the Panthers. It can't be a coincidence how consistently bad we are in the rain. Never forget Panthers v Tigers 2023.
Well, I know you certainly don't, because it's one of the only times the team has lost in recent years.
Smart guy Yay just redeemed Pepsi Max Sip.
I don't know what you guys are on for this final, 5 minutes, but it is literally all happening. 1 minute and 12 seconds left on the clock. Parramatta need a rugby league miracle. Or as they would say in Mario's native Colombia, un milagro. True story. Anyway, played there by Tinkham Brown. On now to find Dylan Walker. They didn't make a heap of ground there in those first couple of plays. We'll see what they can come up with beyond this. Walker. Back deep to find Isaiah Iongi. They're trying to score on every play here a little bit here. They're trying to manufacture a line break somehow. And not really coming up with the goods. Moses is going to kick on the 3rd. Chip and chase. Kelly gets it. Kicks again. And unfortunately, it's going to be Scott there with it. The number 14. Game. Sets. Match. Penrith Panthers. Good stuff from the number 14. Look, Moses, he's had a poor game with the boot. That was a bit of an all-or-nothing play. I mean, it was never likely to come off anyway, but he had to try something, I suppose. Yeah, not what you want. Not what you want. The clock hits 0, 24 points to 18. It is an agonizing game for Parramatta, who will be wondering how on earth that one got away from them. With 2 Simmons going Penrith's way, how has that come about? How has that come about? Anyway, that was fun. I'll be back for tomorrow's games as well. Obviously, we kick off with the Roosters versus the Knights. My own Roosters up against the side in the top 6 away from home. We'll see how my side go. And then it's going to be followed by a little bit of a rugby league doozy in its own right with the Rabbitohs, who are a side that are struggling with injuries, playing up against a resurgent Storm who are playing for their season. Should be a very good time. But anyway, that's going to be all she wrote for today. Thank you all for being here. Thank you all for hanging out. And I will talk to you all later. Bye.